injured here. 1v1 Catachan Fortress, blue side. Eye0fHorus plays a Techmarine, starts at range combat, can get a melee weapon, good damage output and utility, can build structures and repair. Fear up against, who I think went random and got a Plague Champion, starts off range combat, can get melee weapons, decent defense, offense and utility, can build turrets and repair, but lacks mobility. Looks like we have some obs chat, guys, sorry about that, I know it can be irritating, we'll put up with it though because we're on a new 1v1 map, finally. This is Catachan Fortress. None of the victory points natural, running southeast to northwest. Here is the mid, southeast and northwest. The corner ones are a little bit too far out of the way for my liking, but otherwise looks like a very decent map. A nice tool set. In the north, I think this is the actual fortress part. The rest of it is kind of rainforest and dirt paths. I assume this is supposed to be a representation of Catachan, the death world where the devils come from. Look at the damage the Techmarine did to that Plague Champion. Really does put out some hurt with his default bolter. Backs him off, all the way off in fact. Tactical Marines on the field, heavy infantry, fight ranged, very versatile and durable. And triple scouts from Horus. Are we going to see snipers? Fear with double Chaos Space Marines. Here's some Nurgle worship back at base to get that Plague Champion back out in the fight even faster. Techmarine now coming to work on these garrisoned Chaos Space Marines, but he's not going to bother. Natural power for both players, it looks like, and we have two more powers across this central line, so a pretty interesting power distribution. Is anyone going to risk putting generators on one of the central powers, or are they just going to make do with their natural and a node or two? We will see. Triple scouts on the field for Horus. Very mobile ranged infantry. Great for map control. Have some decent offense as well with their upgraded weapons. Chaos Space Marines trying to cap. Gonna get some Nurgle worship to help them out, I think. There it is. Boosting the health regen of infantry. And he's going to take the middle. And nobody has taken the corner VPs yet. Tactical Marines will try and take the northwest, and they should be able to do it. These guys capping points 50% faster than most other units. Only commandos from the Orcs also have the same benefit. Horus taking the southeast also, so he's going to get a 2-to-1. Plague Champion with his mucus discharge allows him to give off an area of effect heal with Breath of Nurgle. Now going after these Tactical Marines very aggressively, trying to get a model off these guys. Chaos Space Marines closing for melee. They are very good in melee for a ranged squad. Tactical Marines though have their Kraken bolts, which boosts damage versus heavy infantry, which is what these Chaos Space Marines are. It also helps in melee, despite it being Kraken bolts. They might turn and engage here. Nope, still backing away. Here we go. Nope. Chaos Space Marines have cover there, so I don't think it wanted to engage. Decent map for Fear. And Devastators on the field for Horus. How is Fear going to deal with these guys? Are we going to see Raptors? No sign of an upgrade for his Heretics. They are getting an aspiring champion in fact. And Chaos Space Marines coming to take the southeast. Scouts trying to get models off the Heretics. They don't want to get into melee with them, especially with that aspiring champion now up. This guy boosts the health of all of the Heretics and makes them pretty fearsome in close combat in tier 1. Pretty much anything the Space Marines can get on the field in tier 1 will struggle in the melee with no support against aspiring champion Heretics. Even Assault Marines, unless Assault Marines get a very good jump, they are going to struggle. Plague Champion capping that power point. He might have got the aspiring champion with a nod to the awesome touch of Nurgle later on. Chaos Space Marines forcing off scouts. Can they decap this fully matured plus 30 rec point? I think they can. Eye0fHorus now capping mid. Trying to exploit the mobility of these triple scouts to these guys back at base though. Need to get back out there. What kind of Techmarine are we going to see? Are we going to see the plasma gun, or are we going to see a melee Techmarine? I think we'll see the plasma gun, perhaps a melter gun if there's a quick blood crusher or something, which we might see because Fear doesn't seem to be getting another unit on the field, so he might go straight to tier 2 now. Chaos Space Marines need to retreat here, double scouts and a Techmarine in melee, and away they go. No grenade on these scouts, so we won't see one in retreat. Has anyone lost a model yet apart from a heretic? I don't think so. Very cagey opening. Both players focusing on map control. Chaos Space Marines have been all over the place decapping stuff. Very good play there. Eye0fHorus struggling despite having triple scouts. Devastators here covering this power. Chaos Space Marines now under fire from Kraken bolts though, needing to back off. Don't want to lose a model. Here comes the Plague Champion to heal them. Yes, there we go. There's the Breath of Noble Heal. And now they can return fire to these Tactical Marines. Eye0fHorus trying to get these guys behind cover. There we go. They still might lose a model though, and retreats before he does. Both players very, very careful not to lose a model. Very defensive play from both players. Devastators will set up with their heavy bolter, suppressing these guys. They only suppressed, and they did suppress the Plague Champion. The Plague Champion needs to run away. And Chaos Space Marines fortunate there not to lose a model. Tier 2 for both players. Eye0fHorus getting there slightly first. And a Plasma Cannon Devastator squad already on the way. Blood Crusher for Fear. So we might see Missile Launcher, Tactical Marines. We might see a Melter Gun Techmarine with orbs. Techmarine's so dangerous to vehicles all by himself with orbs and his Melter Gun. Could see a Las Cannon or even the Vengeance rounds on the Devastators. Vengeance rounds are awesome, pretty underutilized I think from what I've seen. 464381. Tactical Marines are getting their Sergeant. So they can get Stern Guard. He might go for Stern Guard because Vengeance rounds are pretty good now at dealing with vehicles. He of course doesn't know that a Blood Crusher is coming. They might have guessed it since they were just double CSM with no Eternal War or anything. Plasma Cannon smacking on these Chaos Space Marines. I don't think Fear has noticed. They're going to get another shot here. Bang! Doesn't lose a model though. And now he's noticed and they run the hell away. Devastators turning on those heretics and force them off. Some Sturgon veterans now. First company Tactical Marines that can change their ammo to combat all targets. Now they have the Vengeance rounds loaded. You can tell by that strange icon above their head. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. Some kind of missile or a barrel firing or something. But you see the anti-vehicle damage on this Blood Crusher. Look at them go. Recently buffed. Their Hellfire rounds recently toned down. Much more balanced unit now. Very good versus all targets. As you can see here, have taken almost half of the bar from that Blood Crusher in a few seconds. Wow. Plasma Cannon trying to get shots now. Here come double scouts to weigh in with some bolter fire. And Blood Crusher just about makes it out of there. That was really, really nasty. And the Techmarine has a Melter Gun. This thing does 100 damage each shot. So that will be 75 damage per shot to vehicles. Still using Vengeance rounds against those Chaos Space Marines. Seem to do a decent amount of damage. Now fighting the Plague Champion. They might want to change to Hellfire, but no, they've changed back to their Kraken bolts. Kraken bolts are good versus heavy infantry. Hellfire good versus commanders and light infantry. And Raptors on the field for Fear. I think he wants a hard counter on the field for those Devastators. And also to quickly tie up the Stern Guard. He's gone for the Aspiring Champion as you'd expect. Gives them another model with a Lightning Claw 40 DPS power melee damage. 44283 is a triple cap for Horus. Chaos Space Marines trying to cap the VP. They've decapped it. Can they cap it? Raptors get a shotgun blast to the face, trying to chase down these Stern Guard veterans. Those shotguns do a lot of damage when you get close with them. And now they jump the Devastators. Can they get a model before they retreat out of there? They can. Getting a bit low though. That melter gun will do its full 100 damage to them and takes one out in 2 shots. And now they flee. Techmarine still level 1, as is the Plague Champion. Are we going to see this guy go melee? Really put some pressure on the Stone God, perhaps a Plague Sword. Horus blob capping the central VP. Fear has the southeast wrapped up with heretics worshipping this Blood Crusher to boost its health regen. It's a demon, which is why worship gives it this effect. Has vehicle armor though. Scouts harassing. Blood Crusher will go and see them off. Blood Crusher can charge. It can also do a demonic roar, which makes nearby enemies flee momentarily. Only infantry though, of course. And here come the Stone Guard with their vengeance rounds loaded. Nope, they're going to work on the node. Look how quickly they take it out with those vengeance rounds. Here comes the Blood Crusher though. Can it tie them up quickly enough? Techmarine is still there though. We have some Markov Tzeentch Chaos Space Marines with their aspiring champion, and these guys will outshoot a Stone Guard veteran squad. Full damage to all infantry targets with these Inferno bolts. Can they get a model off these Stone Guard though? Raptors need to jump them, but they haven't jumped them, and there's a retreat from Horus. Gets away without a model loss on those Stone Guard. Fear needs to cap up now, could get a triple and most likely will. Look at the map control now for Fear. 421, 250, there's the 2-1 for Fear. Devastators still without vengeance rounds, but look at this, a Dreadnought on the field for Eye0fHorus. Walker vehicle for Space Marines, very tough with 1200 hit points of vehicle armor out the gate. Starts off these 2 close combat weapons, wrist mounted flamer as well. Inspires nearby allies to do more damage whenever it kills anything in melee combat. So you might see it go after those heretics to get some quick kills and some quick damage buffs. Scouts capping southeast. Horus still has his triple scouts, but is still struggling for map right now. These guys do not have a mark, but they do have an aspiring champion and Eternal War. 362, 250. Dreadnought now bashing gens. As you can see, inspiring allies when it takes down a generator as well. Might lose the entire farm. No, here comes Fear from the flank. Raptors jump the Plasma Devastators, but they jump right into the path of the Devastators. Blood Crusher will go after them, try and tie them up as quickly as possible. There are the Vengeance rounds though. Look at the damage they did to that Blood Crusher from close. Melter Gun now going after the Blood Crusher. Dreadnought meanwhile hacking apart those heretics. Now turns his attention to the Chaos Space Marines, need to run away. Doesn't lose a model though. Has lost the aspirant, no, just lost a normal model. Aspirant champion is still there. Blood Crusher still pushing, there is Demonic Roar. Needs to be very careful now. Dreadnought will rip a Blood Crusher to pieces in close combat. Not to mention all of the other vehicle cannons. I'm amazed this thing's still alive. Scouts in retreat are going to get smacked on. And he loses a scout squad finally. There's the 1-to-1 cap, 321, 250. And tier 3 for Horus. Fear has a las cannon on the field. Havocs with Markov Tzeentch. Obviously to deal with the Dreadnought. They are not firing though. There we go. Havoc so dangerous, has no wind up on its las cannon shot, unlike these Space Marines. Devastated las cannon. Those Inferno bolts doing 10% of their damage to vehicle targets. So if you have a lot of them shooting, they can put pressure on vehicles. Here's some Nurgle worship. Blood Crusher. Surely he's not going to go try and fight that Dreadnought. No. Backing away. Tier 3 for Eye0fHorus almost there. Doesn't have the red to drop anything nasty. You might see him drop a Venerable. 321, 228. 1-to-1 cap still. Chaos Space Marine is coming mid. And the Plague Champion is capping up the northwest. So you might see a triple from Fear. Where are the scouts? Ouch, they just got hit by a plasma cannon on the central VP. And they've stopped capping and retreat, but they did decap, so there's the double for Fear. Quite a large 1v1 map, isn't it? Dreadnought struggling to get around after that initial first engagement where it tore stuff up. Fear doing a good job just avoiding it since then. Plague Champion heals himself but needs to retreat. Raptors jump in. On the plasma cannon, take out one model, but again, right into the firing arc of that Devastator. And forced off. Didn't lose a model though, lucky not to with the Dreadnought weighing down on them. Some Nurgle worship. Healing up the Blood Crusher, hasn't leveled yet though. Las Cannon is facing the VP. Is he going to try and cap it? Plasma Cannon is gone. Stone Guard now coming to try and cap, I think. Or just see what's going on. Las Cannon hits them. Very unlucky for Horus to eat a hit from a Las Cannon. Las Cannon has very poor accuracy versus infantry. Marco Zinch getting shots on. Horus retreats. Very good, very cautious player. Eye0fHorus, good at preserving units. 269, 228. 1-to-1 cap steal. Fear floating tons of resources. What is he going for? Could go tier 3. Maybe a Dreadnought with Marco Zinch to put pressure on this guy. 269, 228. Chaos Space Marines will try to cap these guys without a mark. Plasma Cannon is retreated. Raptors now chasing down. The Techmarine needs to retreat. Timed it perfectly. He has the Artificer armor now. Raptors can turn around and try and cap the northwest, and Fear might get a triple again. 268, 228. And Fear goes to 3 in the end. Very, very late tech. Already has over 200 power. Could save up for a Great Unclean one perhaps, if he doesn't get bled. What is his income like? Plus 139, well, not very good. Gonna take him a good while to save up. Kraken bolts, trying to get models off those Raptors. Dreadnought hitting them on retreat. That is nasty. 100 DPS heavy melee damage these things put out with a splash. Not sure how much damage the splash is, but it's pretty nasty. Now going after the Plague Champion. That was a special attack, which is what knocked him flying. Wow, a couple more hits, it would have taken him down there. Stone Guard are going to decap this wreck point, very annoying. Fear still with the 2-to-1. Eye0fHorus obviously waiting for something before he pushes. Could drop a Venerable Dreadnought very soon. Might be waiting for Terminators though. Maybe even a Land Raider. Just needs 300 requisition to get one. Tying up those Chaos Space Marines in melee, waiting for the Plasma Cannon shot. But they do get away without losing a model, I think. Yes. And he can try and cap mid. Dreadnought is here, trying to tie up that Las Cannon Havocs, who for some reason did not reinforce all of their models. There's a sync kill, so the other one is fortunate enough to get away. Now working on the Blood Crusher. Heretics need to be worshipping this guy. He's going to charge away though. Done very well to keep this thing alive, I think. But no, turns back around again. Heretics now in retreat. Raptors having to jump away. These guys with their melter guns, something you do not see them using very often. It's a tier 3 upgrade. It's a little bit lackluster. If you think about a jump troop with melter guns, it sounds awesome, but because their jump costs so much energy, they usually can't jump in quick succession, and they do not have any kind of melter bomb or vehicle snare like the stormtrooper melter gun guys do. And they don't have fleet like fire dragons do. So you usually keep them in melee. We'll see how they do with their melter guns though. It is a good upgrade if you can get it to work. And they are level 2. so they have 115 energy, which helps them get their second jump a bit quicker. 65 energy is their jump. Nurgle Worship mid. Chaos Space Marines will try to cap 206. 189. Land Raider Redeemer on the way for Horus. Plasma Cannon again stopping that cap. Look at the damage hitting all four models, taking half of their hit points. Needs to be very careful. They're very bunched up again. Here comes another shot. Almost wipes the squad and they retreat. He keeps trying to cap mid. He must know by now that the Plasma Cannon is going to be there. Where are the Devastators? Behind them as always. 206, 171. Havocs with the Las Cannon are still around. Can he take out that Dreadnought now? The Techmarine has gone for his Plasma Gun. Awesome weapon versus heavy infantry. Look at the damage to those Havocs with grief. Dreadnought now has the Dark Age of Technology, boosting its health even more. Now has 1620 at level 2. Here come those Melter Gun Raptors. Need to get quite close. As you can see, good synergy with a vehicle snare such as that Las Cannon. Can they deal with this thing now? There is Blessing of the Omnissiah. Global ability of the Techmarine, healing all allied vehicles on the map. Scouts or Stone Guard might want to tie those Raptors up in melee, but they did quite a decent amount of damage to that Dreadnought there. Lots of resources, whoops, for Fear. What is he waiting for? A Great Unclean One? 206, 133 is very close. 2 to 1 for Horus, now a single. Fear is going to take the southeast, and it looks like he's going to take the northwest as well. Scouts forced off. These guys now level 2. Level 2 Dreadnought now. No sign of a weapon upgrade for this guy. You can give it an assault cannon and a multi-melter. Techmarine with the refractor field up. I'm amazed that this Blood Crusher is still around. Really awesome management of this thing by Fear. Hellfire rounds up from the Stone Guard, doing decent damage to those Chaos Space Marines there. Alongside that Plasma Gun, of course. Here comes the Blood Crusher though. And Touch of Nurgle Heretics. Dreadnought with Fist of the Emperor though, stunning all of those guys, and here comes the Land Raider Redeemer in the background. That twin-linked assault cannon on the front doing tons of damage to those Raptors. 2 Flamestorm cannons and a multi-melter on top. This Dreadnought's in trouble though. Las Cannon getting big hits. There's a Breath of Nurgle heal. He's trying to tie up those Raptors. Raptors in range of the Redeemer's dangerous close range weapons. Down goes the Plague Champion in retreat. Can he take down this Dreadnought with these Melter Guns? Very nearly did, but down they go. Good grief, one hit took out 2 models, and that is devastating for Fear. That might be GG. Scouts now repairing the Dreadnought, which is level 3. You see the inspiration buff on those Stone Guard. 166, 119, that might be the telling engagement of the game. Fear was doing very well until this Land Raider Redeemer showed up. Now has a Great Unclean One on the way. Blood Crusher in base, trying to be annoying. There is Demonic Roar. What is it trying to do? Tie up the Devastators, I think. Yes. Techmarine switching back to his Melter Gun. There it is. Boom. Blood Crusher hasn't leveled yet still. Now going after the Plasma Cannon. Techmarine doing tons of damage. Can he take it down? Charge and it should get away. Level 3 Techmarine. Plague Champion still level 1 and down. Much better usage of the Commander, I think, by Eye0fHorus. Fear seems to have done very little with his Plague Champion. 166.94, there's the 2 to 1. And here is the Great Unclean One though. Will it be enough? Because we have a nasty level 3 Dreadnought. Could get a multi-melter. Melter damage is very, very good versus super heavy infantry, which is what the Great Unclean One is. Gives you a damage bonus, in fact. Still a 2 to 1, and I think Eye0fHorus has this wrapped up. Don't think the Great Unclean One is going to turn this around. Land Raider should be able to keep a decent distance away. Marco's Neat CSM almost wiping out those Devastators. But this Land Raider is so dangerous at close range with those grenade launchers on front as well. Can gib squads, and here comes the Great Unclean One. This is his last hope. Blood Crusher finally levels up, but needs repairing or something. Plague Champion is going to try and decap. What is this? Venerable Dreadnought, I think. Boom. Here it is. Unique Walker 2, the Techmarine. I love this thing. Awesome in melee. Cannot upgrade its weapons though, unfortunately. It can charge and stuff, which helps it get around. Going after the Chaos Space Marines. This thing starts off with 1750 hit points. Also inspires nearby troops with melee kills, and here comes the level 3 Dreadnought with around about the same amount of health, with Dark Age of Technology up, 16648. Multi-melter of the Land Raider getting shots in. Venerable taking a lot of damage though from that Great Unclean One. Stone Guard using their Kraken Bolt, should be using Vengeance rounds I think versus the Great Unclean One. Taking tons of damage though. It's going to go down. There is Cloud of Flies. Doesn't really affect vehicles though, I don't think, or does it? Perhaps it does. Wow, I didn't know that. 15946. Chaos Space Marine still firing away. Down goes the Great Unclean One. It will heal allies and damage enemies on a death, but it looks like everything's going to be far enough away. And there is the concede from Fear. Pretty much was all over in that very bad engagement for him in the southeast corner when he lost his Raptors. Nice play from Horus. Cautious as ever. Preserves his army and comes out with the win. Thanks for watching guys. I will see you next time.